Well, Mayor Grandy and I have been in discussions now for a couple of 3 weeks about ways that the Jonesborough project can come to fruition and at the same time generate some monies to address the facility needs of the Johnson City school system as well. The county has never indicated to this point they have any intention of doing a traditional financing for the school project. So I think what we've got to look at is probably from two different perspectives. What would the city settle for, and what is the Washington County Commission willing to approve? You know, I think everyone is in agreement at this point that, you know, if there's a way to do this, we would certainly like to do it without the need for an additional property tax increase. As far as I and everyone I have spoken with, this is the first time in the state of Tennessee that one local government has offered to borrow money for another local government entity in order to facilitate a construction project. So yes, we're breaking new ground here. There have been a lot of lawyers involved, and while they're not writing new law, they're certainly making some initial interpretations, I think, of existing law. You know, you've got a couple of issues that are being discussed. You know, the length of the term, the interest cost to borrow the money, the available cash flow that runs through the Washington County Capital Projects Fund. So there are a lot of different variables, and are getting down to some fairly specific numbers, but then he's got to turn and, you know, ensure that there are at least 8 or 9 votes on the county commission to support whatever that he and I can come to an agreement on. So we're now planning at doing expansions at Southside, Woodland, and Lake Ridge for a total of 16 classrooms. K-5 pupil-teacher ratios are 20 pupils per teacher, so 20 times 16, that's 320 seats. That's going to be about $8 or $9 million worth of work. We have already built into our general fund budget through the People's Education Plan to issue the debt to take care of that $8 or $9 million worth of work, hopefully starting next summer. So it's not like we're asking the county, we have to have $30 million because you're doing $30 million. We're going to take care of the first $10 million, but we still have a need for another 250, 300 additional seats at the elementary school level. The Town Acres School is 50 plus years old. We've got security issues there, and it's a school that's designed where the students have to go outside in order to change rooms and to go different parts of the school. So our desire at this point would be to rebuild Town Acres and take it from a 400, 450 pupil school to a 700 pupil school. This is a path to address medium-term issues using PEP money and some proceeds from the county. And it really puts us in a position to handle student growth over the next 10 years or so, and to keep our enrollment within the capacity designs of the buildings. The model that has been established at Boones Creek and is somewhat being proposed with Jonesborough is a model that will probably be picked up by county systems all across the state of Tennessee in an effort to avoid sharing with city school systems and the need for additional revenue to do so. I think that's an issue that's going to have to be resolved. You know, city school systems like ours can't go on without some financial help from the county schools. I mean, I think this is going to force some ongoing dialogue and creative thinking to address how we go forward with education in the state of Tennessee and Washington County in particular. So I think it's very important while these current conversations are going on to find an immediate solution to the issues in front of us, but equally important is there needs to be an agreement between Washington County and the city of Johnson City on how we're going to deal with this issue in all future school facility constructions.
Great.
I think everyone would agree that the last option would be to go to litigation. That's just going to stop everything for a fairly lengthy period of time, perhaps, be very expensive on both parties, and the money that would then be going to lawyers could be applied towards education. So the students lose, the taxpayers lose, nobody wins in that deal. And I think that Mayor Grandy and I both are very hopeful that we can reach a number that perhaps nobody's going to be entirely happy with what we end up with, but we're going to end up with something that will be acceptable and we can pick up and move forward.